regular members, DeFrancisco, May, Sienna, Galdenzi, and Dulac. First order of business is the meeting minutes from February 4th, which you should have gotten the email.
Which was over anyway.
If you've already looked them over and you'd like to make a motion,
Yeah.
please do so.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from March 4th,
February
2021.
February 4th.
February 4th. I'm looking at tonight's agenda. Yeah, no, the February 4th. Yep.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Yeah, Trish seconds.
Yep. Any discussion?
Close, Trish.
Any discussion?
No.
Seeing none. Trish, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alex?
Yes.
Ron? Give a thumbs up if you're okay with the minutes. Ron, give a thumbs up. Ron, thumbs up. Okay, Bill.
He's frozen.
I vote to approve. Oh, yeah,
Okay, and I vote to approve too. And then we'll just say Ron.
Ron, thumbs up. Yes or no?
All right.
There we go. All right.
Got it. All right, Ron. All right,
The
so
virtual meetings.
that is 5-0. So the first order of business, we're going to jump right. We have no new business or outstanding business, so we're going to go to the town planner's report and kick that over to Kirk.
Okay, just the first item regarding new scheduling for new business from March 17th and April 1st. I have nothing at this point. You may be looking at the March 17th. Most likely, it'll be a cancel.
Okay.
Just give you a heads up. We'll process that next week.
Okay.
The next item is informational presentation on a solar farm on Forest Road. We have the applicants. Jella is here with her team. They wanted to do a presentation, give you the heads up of what they're proposing and the process of doing. I think at this point, I can set it up, I can share, and you can do your presentation, Jella.
Yeah, and I'm going to have, I'll just make an introduction right now. Thanks for having us on this informational presentation. We are submitting to the Connecticut Siting Council for our permits for this project tomorrow, if not on Monday, if the printing actually happens, because the binder is this big, and you guys are going to get a copy of it, obviously, with all of the agencies in the state and in the town. Kurt knows, and maybe some of you also know, we've been developing this with this project on 127 Forest with the town and the town's approval for almost a year now. And we've kind of gone through many presentations and many meetings. The long and the short of it is we're going to be developing, we've already developed, we're just waiting for the permits right now from the Siting Council and DEEP, a 2 megawatt project on Forest Road, and the power that's going to be produced, that's going to be going through the distributed generation lines of United Illuminating. It's going to benefit the town of North Branford via this program called Virtual Net Metering. And I apologize, I'm not, I'm a little bit rusty right now when I'm speaking, because I've been on an Energy and Technology Committee meeting with the Connecticut legislator for 8 hours, a Zoom call about this very topic, not this project. Luckily, this project has its virtual net metering allocation, but about new projects. So the project, as I said, is 2 megawatts, about 10 acres on the eastern side of 127 Forest. And as some of you may know, this property with the landlord has been under deep investigation for solid waste, together with multiple other properties that the landlord owns. Since we've started developing the project and we got all of our incentives and all of our contracts on the power side, between October and December, the landlord actually came up to an agreement with Department of Environmental Protection to release the portion that we're going to be building the solar system on, which is not contaminated, but pledge almost all of the revenue that he's going to make on the lease, the landlord is going to pledge almost all of the lease revenue to Deep for the cleanup of the rear property that is on Marjorie Drive. So it's an elegant solution. It's a property that has not been productively used because of its deep investigation. We're going to build a solar system that's going to benefit the town and lower its power bills tremendously. We're going to be updating the three-phase line system on Forest Road coming from Mill Street or Mill Road.
Chella, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Is it Chella?
Yeah.
Chella. Kurt, are you displaying anything? Because I'm not seeing anything. And
We're about I'm gonna actually stop
Okay.
my blurb and then I'm gonna hand it over to Brad.
all right.
So I have tonight with us Brad Parsons from All
Okay.
Points.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Keep going. I apologize.
No problem. So Brad Parsons here is our engineer, our civil engineer on the project, and also the lead environmental engineer. He is going to present to you an overview, what we would usually present to the siting council. With that, maybe you can share your screen, Brad, and introduce yourself. This is our these two are going to be our fifth and sixth projects together with All Points Technology, but in our third location in Connecticut. The two of them are already, the first four, which are on two separate locations, are already operational. So we're very excited about those. Brad, can
Hey,
you share?
Brad, so if I can ask, I'm just very curious because, Chella, I just heard you mention about contaminated soil and then the proceeds going back to for remediation. So if you can, Brad, if you can expand upon that and just highlight where that is, I'd be very curious. And
I can expand on
Thank you.
that.
Yeah, Chella, why don't you do that? I'm going to pull up some plans here. And
All right, thank you.
Kurt, am I going to be able to share my screen?
Oh, that's what I thought I did.
All right, I'll give it I'll give it a try here.
Try it. If not, then.
Yeah, disabled at the moment, it's saying.
Okay, let me just try. Okay, I haven't done this. I hit share screen and then,
Yeah, I think if you go to participants and you go to me, and I don't have the power on Zoom, but I think if you hit more, I think you can give me, you might need to make me co-host or.
okay, doesn't say share screen. I hit more.
So give you an option to make me a co-host potentially.
Share video, stop video, spotlight video, make host.
Yeah, that would be it.
All right, I'll do that. And then, all right,
Perfect. Yep.
that's good.
Good. All right. So I should be able to do this. Share. And you guys should be able to. You seeing kind of the overview aerial of the project right now?
I do.
Great.
Right. So let me just explain. So this is the eastern side of 127 Forest Road. If you go to the western side where you don't see an array and even further towards Totucket Road, Marjorie Drive.
Sorry,
That
can you just, I'm sorry to interrupt. Maybe you move your cursor. I did not see it. It went-
Yep. So right here, just give you a orientation so they kind of has an idea here. So right here, this is Forest Road. Right here, you've got the New Biggs Way just to the north
Got it. Yep.
up here,
Yeah.
and then
To the south is Auger Farm.
Auger Farm, and then Marjorie's Way starts over kind of right in here.
Got you. Okay. Thank you.
And then, so Chella, while you talk, I'm going to kind of outline the piece of the parcel that was broken off here.
Yeah, it's clear now. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's all right.
It's clear to me at least.
Yeah. So the left section of the of the screen that Brad is going to show you, that is not part of our project. And I don't want to say it's contaminated. I just want to use the proper verbiage here since we don't know anything about it and it's not part of our project. It is under deep investigation with the landlord, and deep is suggesting that there might be some cleanup, but we're not involved in that. It's between the landlord and deep. This part where we are going to be, the solar array that you see is not contaminated, and deep has allowed us to build our solar project on this section of the property.
Perfect.
And-
I know what's going on now. Thank you.
So, and with that, I will let Brad maybe technically kind of walk you through how many panels we have, what's the setback, and, just a little overview.
Yeah. So basically, you see a large array that is actually broken into two systems. So our system one is on the left-hand side here. That is approximately, or it's 3,302 modules. Those are 390 watt modules. So we're looking at this producing approximately 970 kilowatts of power here on the left side. And then the right side here is the second system, and that's 3,354 modules, and will produce 1 megawatt or 1,000 kilowatts of power in AC. And each of those will come down to an equipment pad here, where we will have inverters, transformers, and switch gear. And then that is going to head over to a pad-mounted metering system that will be our point of interconnection with UI. And then we will head out underground to the utility poles, where we'll transition to the three-phase distribution that's out in the street on Forest Road. So we will have a few poles here along the road. We are bringing in a new gravel access driveway that's along the southern portion of the property. That'll come into the property, and it's approximately a little under 300 feet from the edge of the property line to where the system fence will be. So the facility will be fenced in. On this eastern side here, where it looks like it's a little darker of a fence, we will have a 7-foot high chain link fence with black vinyl slats in the middle. And then we are also planting Spartan junipers up the entire side of this fence area here, additional screening for Forest Road and residents here. And then the remainder of the fence will be regular chain link up until this corner here, where we'll switch back and add the privacy slats and additional plantings here for screening for these two, additional screening for these two residences. This through here is a pretty well-established shrub type habitat and trees. So there may be some limited seasonal views here, but a majority of the year you're going to have, no view beyond the system towards New Bigs Way. The gates, we will have one gate here at the facility that will have a what I call a Knox padlock on it. Basically like the same knockbox, so that way the fire department can come in, access the facility if there is ever an emergency. There will be training for the department once the facility is operational, so they can understand how to shut things off and what to do in case of an emergency. The facility is mowed maybe once or twice a year. We're going to be planting the area inside the facility with a low growth seed mix. So it's basically designed for solar arrays. So it just doesn't get too high and shade the bottom half of the panels. And those sit approximately 3 feet off the ground on the low side, and approximately 8.5 feet on the high side. as part of this project, because we are converting agricultural row crop farmland to a meadow, there will actually not be the need for permanent stormwater controls. The conversion of that farmland to, basically a established year-round stabilized ground actually ultimately reduces runoff from the site, even with following DEEP's new Appendix I, which requires us to drop half a hydraulic soil group for the areas of the array. We will have, and I'll show you here in a minute, a temporary sediment basin in the corner, and that will be there just for the duration of construction, basically ensuring that we are maintaining and capturing any potential sediment before it leaves the site just during construction. Once the site is fully stabilized, the temporary sediment basin would be removed and that area would be permanently stabilized as well. And I can flip.
I have a couple questions. Hang on, I have a couple questions.
Yep, go ahead.
One obvious question is like, that looks huge. So that's like taking up most of that property, right?
10 acres.
Yeah, 10 acres.
Huge on there. Other more questions that come from my ignorance, that because I know this is happening. I don't know details, and since we have access to you guys, are you guys are the builders of this, the owners of the solar farm? You're with the state, you're private?
We're private. We're the owner operators with our investors.
Okay. And then the next question, the gravel driveway, that's running parallel to Mill Road? Or that's far away from Mill Road?
In essence, it's a good amount of ways away from Mill Road. I think Mill Road it's about 1,000 feet. Mill Road's about 1,000 feet.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
South. Yep.
I thought that intersection, especially like with the high school kids coming in and out, I was like, ooh, that's going to get, I always get nervous there with high school kids, but that's far away. Okay.
Yep, correct.
I have a question. I'm sure I have a question or a couple questions too. I'm sure Kurt has already discussed this with you. So the gravel driveway on the Route 80. So is that a curb cut that's got to be approved by the DOT? Kurt?
That's correct. We will need an encroachment permit from the department on that.
Right. Okay. So, just a question on the fencing with the slats and stuff. You said scrub juniper. What's a scrub juniper?
Sorry, Spartan juniper.
Yeah, you did say that. I just
no, that's okay. It's
Spartan juniper.
It's a varietal of an evergreen / arborvitae, but they're more of a dwarf evergreen arborvitae. So their max height reaches 15 to 20 feet in height. They're fairly deer resistant.
Okay. It's planted in front of the fence. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's planted in front of the fence and
intermingled with the fence when you said it.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to show
Yeah, I can bring up that's what I was going to pull up right now for everybody is we did some photo simulations too that might help. So let me pull those up.
Yeah,
while you're pulling that up, I have one more question. 2.5 kilowatts. This is just a curiosity. You said some of it will go to the town. How much is going to the town of North Branford? Do you know?
It's not kilowatts, by the way. It's 2.5 megawatts.
Megawatts. Yeah. Okay. That's even better.
Which is 2,500 kilowatts.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 6,600 panels. All of it is going to the town. Majority of it, just a very small sliver of it, is going to Page Farm.
Okay, that's good to know. That's what I asked. Yeah. So we're utilizing it locally then.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Are you guys seeing my the Mill Road picture here?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No. All right. No, it's just the way I shared. So let me stop sharing. I'll just share.
It was up.
Seeing it.
I saw it.
It was?
Oh, you did. Oh, all right. Sorry. Yep.
Oh, my bad.
All right. Okay. So the next series of photos is we did basically it's a photo simulation. So we took photos from around the site to give everybody an idea of what this will look like. So this photo here is to the south on Mill Road, looking north. Obviously, this is the auger farm here in the foreground, and our project is going to be here in the background. And I'm going to flip to the next page, which will which you'll be able to see kind of where it comes into play. So you might not have even noticed it, but it's right here. I'm going to run my hand over it there.
I'm sorry. This is from Mill Road?
This is from Mill Road, correct?
Mill Road,
Looking
yeah.
north.
Okay,
Yep.
I understand. Gotcha.
So just to give everybody an idea, I'm going to zoom in. You can kind of see, all right, there's some of our equipment. You can kind of see the panels now in the background a little bit. And then there's the fence with some of the plantings there. So just to give you some better idea of scale when you're looking at it this way from Mill Road. The next photo here is going to be from the intersection or the access drive area off of Forest Road. So this is looking into the facility. The access road is going to be right here. So we're kind of looking right at it from Forest Road. These are the poles from United Illuminating.
You can't put underground, huh?
We're going to come underground to the point where we basically hand everything over to United Illuminating.
All right.
We still need to work through with them exactly how many poles they're going to install, but this is kind of our worst case scenario that we've dealt with Eversource, where they've had five poles for two separate systems like this.
They can't go to an end pole and just call it a day. One pole at the end.
They end up having to. It'll depend. Usually, they end up having to put a recloser on one of the poles. Then they have to. The next pole has to have a GoAb disconnect switch. So it's just a matter of how they end up pulling their system together here.
They should work on a better solution for that.
Everybody would like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, come on, seriously, yeah. All right.
But then you can see in there's the I'll zoom in a little bit, and then we've got another photo up the street. But there's the fence behind it with the the Spartan junipers in front. These are kind of shown as a kind of a mid growth. They'll obviously get larger of this, but we try to don't show them what we like to show them kind of partially growth versus full growth, just so everybody gets an idea of what it's going to be like in a little bit of an interim situation.
Brad, question for you.
Yeah.
In the property between Mill Road, between Forest Road and the beginning of the fence, is that going to be farmed still? I can't tell how big that is. But
that's a good question. So I have an answer for that. So the town specifically wanted us, initially we were coming a little bit even closer to the road because, as you can tell, the closer we are, the less poles we're going to need from United Illuminating, and it's just more cost efficient and better for us. But then the town said, you know what, when we really want this 200 feet setback, we really don't want this on the road because it's a main road. We don't want this visually. So fine, we pushed it back. We, outside of our fence, we're open to anything. It can be farmed, but what's being told right now is that there's a sunflower project, as you know, in town. Around the periphery of the fence and around all of our trees, there will be a sunflower project. But we're open to all sorts of ideas. We even said that, there could be like, educational fair or a STEM fair for kids at some point. The sunflower project can go there. We're not using that area, so anything can happen there.
Okay. Maybe we could dress those telephone poles up as giant sunflowers.
Yeah, Kurt, I don't know how much involvement you had in this, but my God, the fence and the junipers look nice compared to those poles.
This is the first I'm seeing those poles.
That looks hideous.
They can stand out.
Wow, that looks terrible. It's like such a great sustainable project and everything. Then you have these monstrosities sitting out. It just degrades the whole thing.
We don't just so that you know, this is just a depiction of what UI we think is going to be. We know what our system is going to be, but on the UI front, we're just waiting for them to let us know how many poles they need. They may just end up saying that we need 2 poles and that's it.
I hope so. You should try to go underground as much as possible to one pole.
So Kurt, let me ask you what the next steps are. So this is informal to us. just to kind of look over. Will this come back to planning and zoning for a site plan review, or is once the state approves it, it's done, a done deal?
My understanding is it's a siting council.
I mean, I'll say, so they have
This is more of a courtesy,
right, okay.
informational. I'm correct, right, Shella?
Yeah, so all these projects by regulation, anything that's above 1 megawatt, which this project is almost 2 megawatts, has to go to the siting council and deep general permit. So once we submit, but you're going to get copies of it as well. You can comment. But let's just say we are over the siting council process, which they will comment. We'll go back and forth with interrogatories and all that kind of good jazz, and we get our deep permit. We will still come to town for final electrical and building permit, but not in front of the planning and zoning.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Just ask CLMP or United Illuminating if they can do anything there. That would be really nice.
Yeah, we'll definitely ask them. We'll definitely ask.
We're a farming rural community and beautiful landscape and stuff, and that's not good.
Especially if the sunflower project's going to go there too. You know, a lot of people like to pull over and take a nice picture, and it won't be the same with a giant telephone pole in the middle.
Mhm.
But you know, it is. You know, hopefully they could do something with that. But all right,
This again is just
anything else?
I'll show you the rest of the photo sims we do have here. It's just another photo from Forest Road. This is looking between the two residences that are there. Mainly we did this when we had our abutters meetings earlier in February, so they could see this as well. And then the last photo here, just to kind of show you from New Biggs Way, how there is some limited visibility during the winter time, but most of that will be, taken up with this, trees, and then the shrub habitat will screen that. So that's.
Brad, you mentioned that you met with the abutters. What was the consensus during those conversations?
They liked it. We actually offered, there was some conversation in terms of should we take out the privacy slat and just leave the chain link fence, don't leave the black,
Right.
just the trees. And they were like, no, we like it because we'll do whatever, from the privacy slat. It's for their benefit.
Right.
They were like, no, we want to keep it. And they thought it was sufficiently set back when we gave them the distances. Generally, everybody was supportive.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any, I have a question, is there any low frequency humming like what you get from a transformer from these things? I'm just curious. I really don't know. So any noise?
You will get the transformer noise that would normally be from the transformer itself. However, because of its proximity here over, as part of basically in the middle of the site, the way that will dissipate over time is significant, that by the time it gets to these property lines, it'll basically be non-existent. For instance, 70 dBA is common for a transformer noise, which is like the sound of an air conditioner running. Mm-hmm. Give everybody an idea of that. But over even just a 25-foot distance, that noise from a 70 decibel level drops down to almost close to 40 dBA, and 40 dBA is equivalent to light rain. So
low frequency bends around things, so it can transform much farther than a higher frequency, like 2 to 4,000 hertz. So that's why.
Right. Yep. No,
sometimes
that makes sense.
Transformers do a low frequency.
Yep. And
you can hear them it's like, what is that from? And it's from very far away because it's a low frequency. So it's because it's frequency. It's not just the dBA. It's frequency related as well.
Yep.
Just curious. Okay.
Yeah. No, not a problem.
Thank you.
So did any neighbors talk about green slats versus black slats? I feel black jumps out, but I don't. Clearly, this is courtesy, but I'm like, black slats? I always use, I'm always used to the green slats in chain link fence, and it seems to go with the scenery, but if people are happy with black.
That's a good question. It didn't come up.
Great question.
We're indifferent. We'll do whatever color. I mean, I didn't think that there was a It's a good question. It didn't come up. I'll just tell you that. I don't know. If it comes up, we're happy to switch over to green.
I think it's a great point because you see the green grass, it would just almost blend in. Yeah.
I just feel like the black's gonna pop huge against the green, whereas, again, total personal speaking, when you see those chain link fences with green in them and there are different shades of green around, it doesn't pop as much. I don't know anybody else's thoughts.
I think
The only
it's a
thing is
great,
maybe black is less reflective than like a green or anything else. That's the only thing. It's such a big fence. That's the only thing I could think of, that there'd be the benefit of having black is it absorbs, it doesn't reflect. But I mean, dark green would probably be sort of the same.
Yeah, like a dark green of that
Yeah.
matches the shrubs,
But
the
then you lose
trees.
the tree. Then you can't tell the difference between the tree and the fence.
and the grass.
Yeah, and the grass.
Might not be a bad thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
we could put when we get when the town gets the review, we can maybe put something like that in our comments to it going back.
Yeah, I lean toward like a green or dark green. Not that bright green you often see, but if there's a dark greener.
Yeah.
Forest green.
Forest green.
Hunter
that's-
green.
Forest
Hunter green. Yeah, there you go.
Mill
We'll
River
find a
Green.
specific spectrum
Yeah.
number that goes with it.
All right. Anybody else have anything
Very
else?
good. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Exciting.
Well, thank you for making the time to listen to us. You're
I
gonna-
had a quick question.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So I'm familiar with the North Haven solar panel array that went in a few years back. You guys said this is about like 10 acres or so. So what you guys are proposing is smaller than what is over on North Haven on Route 17 there.
That's
Is that
correct.
on the landfill? I think so. I think that's a 4 or 5 megawatt project, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
It's probably half the size of that.
Okay. And then I think with the land there, you guys won't run into this issue. I know the one over in North Haven, the topography goes up and down with the solar panels, whereas here you're relatively flat. But are you guys going to keep the solar panels so that way the tops of the solar panels are all even and not how they went up and down over there?
You won't see that as much on this site. That site I am also familiar with is a little more rolling up and down.
Yeah.
This site does, we do kind of head down at a little more of an angle here, like this area right here. The slope is a little steeper than this area. So we will be kind of following the topography through here.
Okay.
And then, everything will probably, once you get to this point after here, be at that pretty much at that same elevation, just following that ground at a nice angle there.
Well, yeah, we don't see the topography, but this is, as you said, because it's so flat, I think it's going to look very even. But I just sent you, Brad,
Yeah.
if you want to share the aerials of the East Hampton project, which is a
Oh,
little. We just finished a site. We just turned on a site in East Hampton, Connecticut, and we just. I have drone pictures from last week. I don't know if you can see it, but he's going to share it. That site is a little rolly, and you
Alex,
can.
that was there, that strawberry farm, All Saints Cemetery. Is that what you're talking about, North Haven?
Yeah.
Yeah, right
rolling,
before
yeah.
it by the mausoleum.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah,
so
so
it
that's
used to
cool.
be maybe pepper fields and other stuff, maybe strawberries in the way back, but yeah, it's right before the strawberry fields where they all used to be.
Gotcha. Okay.
How tall is the chain link? How tall is the fence again?
It is 7 feet, and that's per the National Electric Code.
And are there I'm assuming you build in security, if there's a breach, some alarm goes off?
Yep. We monitor 24/7 remotely. And if there's any breach, we know. If anything breaks down, we know. We also put in case of emergency, call this number. But the first respondents are the first respondents. God forbid something happens, like a meter vandalism or something happens.
Yeah, that's a good.
Police will have the code to our knockbox. We will train them what to do, both fire department and police. So they are the first responders. But we'll be there for if anything breaks.
Yeah.
So this is about the same size as that what we're doing right now, but this is a much larger area because as you can see around the area, we had a lot more stormwater controls. So I don't know if you can see it, but on the right side, there's like a little bit of a wave. It's like the
Right, kind of right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This is what it will look
Sounds
like,
good.
very similar. Yep.
Anything else from anybody?
No, and just so you know, what motivated my comment about the green slats is when I visited Sedona a couple years ago, you're only allowed to paint your house one of three very specific colors, your house or your buildings. So it matches, the red rocks and the brown and the green that's there.
That's a
That's
good idea.
what it was motivated by.
Good thing we don't live in Sedonia.
Oh, it's gorgeous though.
It is nice out there.
No,
Thank
great presentation. Thank you.
Thank
not
you
a problem.
Thank you so much. If you have any questions, Kurt knows where to find us, so please
Yep.
feel free to touch base.
Brad, are you putting me back as host?
Oh, do I need to do that possibly?
I don't know. I'm just,
Well, let me not, let me
I
do
don't want you
that.
to leave and all of a sudden we're
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
We're
And,
looking at things.
yes,
It was a ruckus.
there you go.
There you go, Kurt.
Thank
All
you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, that would have been bad.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Kurt, the next one on the town,
Can we go back real quick?
What?
The meeting that we might cancel would be on March 18th, correct? Not 17th?
I think it's the 18th. Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day, I don't work.
For
No?
public or legal reasons, just wanted to double check
Right.
that.
Yeah. That would have to be properly noticed.
Yeah. Kurt, the next one is the new town planner?
Yep.
Monroe, right? Monroe.
We're ready to go. Our new town planner, his name is William Agresta. He was recently working in Monroe I believe for the past 8 years as the planning and zoning administrator. He's got over 30 years experience in planning. I think he worked in Wilton early on in the late 80s, and he worked for a private consulting firm for many years. And then he went to Monroe, I think, back in 2013. He's an AICP certified planner. Again, he has a wealth of experience. We're looking forward to his arrival this coming Monday.
Yeah, great.
And
Looks like
Perfect.
he recently went through a plan of conservation development too with Monroe.
Yep.
Excellent. Good.
yeah, so we're excited.
Fantastic.
All right. Next, Kurt, I don't know if you want to
So,
share.
I'm sorry, sorry, Harry. So Kurt, is he the same as Kerry then? Is inland wetlands and wetlands official and planning person and zoning enforcement officer?
Over
All that?
here, he'll be the wetlands person and the town planner as well.
Just like
ZBA
Kerry
is
was?
covered by the zoning enforcement officer. I think in Monroe, he didn't do wetlands. Over there, he was zoning board of appeals.
No, I meant,
Zoning.
so here for North Branford is same as what Kerry did?
Same as what Kerry did.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Yep, gotcha,
Exact same position.
gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, Harry.
Oh, Kurt, do you want to share your screen and review the budget?
We passed them out. Did you get hard copies?
Oh.
I don't have them. I don't have them to really. I don't have it in a digital format.
We got an email, right?
We got him in the email, Kurt.
We
Yeah.
do. We
I mean, and basically, just to give you the overview, I didn't really change anything. I changed the narrative in the beginning, left the budget essentially as is. So there's really no changes. You know, it was really here more if you saw something pressing that you thought you wanted to address, I could pass it on to the town manager. But essentially, it's the same budget
Yeah.
with just tweaks from the prior years. The description change, like I said, we're facing a change, just like the planning budget. You know, everything has pretty much been carried forward without any real changes.
And it looks like everything requested was proposed by the manager as well. So for 21-22 so far. So,
Yeah, I don't think he hasn't made any changes to it.
Okay.
Again, it's information. Again, it's a status quo type of budget.
Does somebody want to make a motion to recommend Or do we have to recommend it, Kurt, or?
I don't think you really have to recommend it, or acknowledge it, or, I
Accept
think you
it.
do either or. I mean,
I think that's what we
it
did.
comes to town manager's budget.
Humbled and unimportant tonight.
What's that?
I said, we're quite humbled and unimportant tonight. I don't
Yeah.
mind just hanging back. not using
I'm a
my
little
brain.
upset Trish got that big raise from three times zero, that 3 times 0 that you got.
I told people not to tell.
So Kurt, do we have to do anything on it, or?
Well,
is this-
you can recommend it. I mean, I think you take the action and,
Harry, you
In
remember
a
we did
minute.
something. It's like, yeah, we can't approve it because
yeah, acknowledge it, recommend it.
We accept
How
it.
about both? We recommend
yeah.
and acknowledge.
Yeah.
Cover them all.
We accept, acknowledge.
All right, well, somebody make a motion.
I make a motion that we acknowledge and accept the 2021-2022 budget.
I'll
Second,
second it.
any discussion? Bill,
I vote yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Trish,
Yep.
Ron, thumbs up? Ron? Oh, yeah. And I vote yes as well, so that's unanimous, 5-0. Okay. Next thing is, I think what's that, outdoor dining?
Outdoor dining. That's you, Harry.
Yeah, so about, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, I heard that the governor is considering to allow
This is a test. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Can anyone
Yeah, we
hear
can hear
me?
you, Ron.
Yeah.
Yep, we can.
Yeah.
It's better.
Can you hear us?
He's back. Okay.
Okay.
So as you recall, the reason why we went to outdoor dining and we tried to do a regulation and we said no because it's going to be temporary and all the details can be worked out with the town planner. Don't have to wait weeks or months to go to planning and zoning or whatever. But I think it was about 3 weeks ago, I heard where the governor is going to continue, or not continue it, but allow outdoor dining, but depending on the local planning and zoning.
Oh.
So
Harry, can I
as
say
of March 16th, I think it is,
March 18th?
you can go to full capacity restaurants as long as your tables are 6 feet to, I think, 6 to 8 feet apart.
6 feet apart.
So we're getting closer. So the only concern I have is once that temporary outdoor seating dining goes away, then businesses will not be allowed because we have no regulation for that. So what I wanted to bring out is that maybe we should start thinking about it because I think, or I don't want to say, I don't know how the businesses are doing. It helped them out during a certain period of time, but they seem to be successful. And it seems to, it might be something we should look at for that reason. I don't think we need to really, make a really difficult regulation. But I think, here's what I was thinking, like for the safety, if you're going to put it out in the parking lot, make sure there's no exits, into the parking lots, from the sides or just, random entries and exits. And then we have to look at parking because if you go full 100% capacity indoors and you have outdoors, that means your seating capacity is increased. So we need to kind of take a look at parking as well. If you're the owner of the property, I mean, if you're not the owner of the property, you get a sign off from the owner that they're allowing you to do this. If you have, and these are just some ideas I'm throwing out there. If your outdoor seating abuts to the parking lot or a parking space, maybe you have like a 4-inch curbing so nobody mistakenly accelerates and it's happened.
There's some kind of barrier or something.
Yeah, so but I think it's just something we should think about because for those who've done it, once the temporary the temporary or the executive order or the emergency order, whatever you want to call it, is pulled away, that means we no longer can do that. So, I mean, I don't know if we have to do it today, but I think we should, at least in some meetings, have some discussions what we want to have in there, what kind of regulation, what zones it should touch, and try to keep it as simple as possible. So, just my thoughts.
Kurt, real quick, do you have the numbers of restaurants in town that actually went for the outdoor dining?
I don't have an exact number. I think it's about a half dozen or so.
Yeah.
Kurt, sorry, go ahead. Kurt, do you know, is there any possibility or avenue for the town to do some kind of emergency thing, or is that not allowed? Like, can Mike Polis say as the town manager, or you as?
I don't know the answer to that question, Bill.
Like to say we're just going to put an emergency extension on outdoor dining till the end of 2021.
Yeah, because I think it's here now, and I think people are, even if they open up the restrictions, I think people are going to want to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so they want more. They want beyond the pandemic.
That's what I'm getting at, Bill.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I'm worried that the governor will pull the emergency declaration or whatever.
The executive orders.
The executive order, and then our businesses that have it will not be able to continue.
No, I know that. Yeah, I was saying if there
that's
was
why
a
I
way
say
if that's what I'm saying, if there's a way we could put an emergency extension on that locally.
Well, why don't we just make a
rather than doing a text amendment?
Yeah, we have to do it. Yeah.
But
I think
you got to look. Do you want this to continue?
That would be
longer.
Correct, Kurt?
I mean,
then all the things that Harry talked about kick in.
They have to get looked at. Absolutely. Because parking and
Parking,
septic system, it does increase your capacity, then, or is there a way to adjust your capacity so while you have the outdoor dining, you have to reduce your inside dining to match it up to that.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to bring this up, because if we talk about it, try to keep it simple, we can get it in place, make it simple but make it right, make it smart. We can have it in place, so then we can put it out there. So we can so people can talk about it. We can keep it on the agenda for a while, and then we can enact it. If it's approved, so then these businesses can continue their operations by just coming to us with some information of how they're going to continue their business, and we know who they are, so we can contact them. So if there were or half dozen businesses, at least we can contact them and say we're going to be putting a regulation together to continue the outdoor dining or outdoor whatever you want to call it, outdoor service. And maybe get the word out to some other restaurateurs who may want to consider it. But I think the sooner we started, the better off we would be. Because I got a feeling that, we're getting close.
I would
full capacity.
Go
ahead, Bill.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I apologize.
Oh no, I'm saying some businesses will be considered full capacity because their tables are 6 to 8 feet away or whatever it is. Some, I'm not going to say most, but I don't know the percentage, but some will be at full capacity because they already have that kind of spacing. I'm not sure. I'm not saying about places in North Branford, but I'm just saying in general. So,
well, yeah. So
I think we want to certainly support and continue that. I was just wondering, because I know like West Hartford is pursuing something. I think they're actually close. Kirk, I don't know if you can find information on it, where they just did something that they extended it through 2021 to get them over this whole kind of pandemic.
Well, they don't have a good planning and zoning group like we have, where we can.
Yeah, exactly.
We can get. That's West Hartford. We can get something through pretty quick. Because
they're working on. I think they have it in place. It's just
but the only thing I'm worried about is like in West Hartford. I think if I'm not mistaken, most of those are sidewalk cafes.
Yeah.
We have stuff that are in parking lots. We have in parking lots in areas that parking is at a premium. So that's why I would like to get something in there for safety reasons. So the ones in the parking lots, there's no accesses into the parking lot. Like you'd have to walk up to the front, onto the sidewalk at the front of the building to go around, not just kind of jet out from any, different entrances. I'd like to get some of those safety features in there.
Harry, that's already being addressed by the police department and the fire department when they got set up with the town for the temporary.
Yeah.
They already addressed those so that way people wouldn't walk out in their temporary.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm looking at, just extending what we already had, that's all.
Yeah.
If we can do it locally instead of, if the governor says, after May 10th, you can't do this, we can extend it to the end of the year. That's my only point. If we can do it simply just by the town doing something.
I think the town council has to do that. I think the town council will have to do something like that.
Right.
But I would put it on or make a regulation, because how if somebody new wants to come in, so we're just going to give them, just instead of going through a process that we can review, we're going to just say, go ahead and do it without, with just, planning review. And then a few months later, when the governor pulls it away, then you got to bring it in front of us again. I mean, I don't know.
I think the biggest factor is the parking where it's a premium, because if, like you said, if it's at full capacity, we're going to have something somewhere to help support that.
Yeah. Harry, to add like what you were mentioning before, I think in the next couple of weeks or starting next week, the like how you said, the capacities go away, but that 6-foot rule is still there. So even when most of Connecticut was at 50% capacity, a lot of these places weren't able to even get to 50% because of the 6-foot spacing. To give a sense of what most of these restaurants have for space. So I honestly think most of these places, not just our town, but around the state, this increase does nothing for them. But with that, it's like how Bill is saying too, is like if we get an extension on this, because when I look at this and when the executive orders go away, I think we're still going to have them throughout this whole summer, at least with like the masks and the 6-foot spacing, until they get the vaccines at acceptable number. But who knows with that? My biggest concerns, like how you mentioned, Harry, parking, lighting, sound. If these places want to keep their patio going, some may no, some might yes, but then they got to get permission from their landlords or whatever it might be. But that should just be like a revision of their site plan.
Well, they don't have a site plan.
If you go to the original site plan for the business, you should be able to pull up. So if it's a restaurant in a strip mall, for example, I think right now, if someone want to do it regardless of the executive orders, you just go revision the site plan on that. I think the way everything's in stone right now, or you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think normally that's how you would go about it right now.
No, you would have to do, you'd have to bring a site plan to. Right now, you can do basically anything you want as long as it's approved by the town. Temporarily, once that goes away, you can no longer do it.
No, I'm not saying about the temporary. I'm just talking about in general. So, like, if a brand new restaurant came to us today,
yeah,
you look at the site plan, everything else like that, make sure they have adequate parking, safety measures, lighting, all that stuff. If the executive orders went away and a restaurant was like I said, in a strip mall or something like that, they would have to go to the town and to us to make an amendment to then consider, well, are we going to allow it, or they have to do changes or whatever it might be.
No, it's not currently allowed. They would not be able to do it. There's no regulation. The only thing the outdoor service was for the temporary executive order from the governor. Once that goes away, the outdoor service goes away unless your town has a regulation, which we don't. So that's why I'm saying is that we should bring a regulation, at least get it moving. So, I mean, it's going to be probably late in the fall or before they allow full capacity in Alex, I agree with you, until they do that. But if we want to have outdoor service, we should do a text amendment and make sure that it's in place. So when it's pulled, that somebody can come in and and go through it pretty quickly so they can continue their operation. But once that goes away, any outdoor stuff goes away with it.
We've had restaurants in town for years that have had outside dining before.
There's no regulation, so they should not be doing that.
But the town, whether it's in the last decade or 2 decades, approved those areas.
There's nothing in the regulation to allow outdoor dining. That's why we try to do, if you remember, if you remember, we tried to do a regulation about doing outdoor dining, and then we pulled it back because the governor did it, because that's why we were doing that regulation, because there's nothing in our bylaws or regulations that have outdoor dining. Maybe it was done prior to regulations, but there is nothing in our regulations. So that's why I'm saying let's bring this up, because I hate to see the governor pull it back. We can't give a continuance of the governor's executive order. Maybe the town council can, but planning and zoning can't. The only thing we can do is a text amendment. So if we want to be proactive, we should do that. Otherwise, once that goes away, then the town enforcement officer would have to go and tell them that it's no longer allowed.
So here, quick question: what did DQ always do all these years then?
Who?
Because Dairy Queen over North Branford, they always had outdoor seating for
They have
decades.
a couple picnic tables. That Dairy Queen was regulated, or the regulations were done way before me. So
There's also a difference between sitting and eating. Like, you could sit outside McDonald's on the curb if you want. I think there's a difference between getting something to go and eating, and versus
Table service, or you're choosing this picnic table?
I think
Okay.
because I think like Supreme Seafood has a picnic
Like
table.
one
or
picnic
two.
table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you meant all, or there's a couple picnic tables over there. They choose to go. If not, okay.
No, but I think so. And Kurt mentioned that there's about a half dozen businesses that did request, or had a request for outdoor seating or whatever it might be. So that's a half dozen people that we can get in contact when we put a text amendment together. Again, trying to extend the governor's executive action, I don't think we have. I mean, somebody can go and find out, but I don't think we can do that. Maybe the town council can, but what we can do is do a text amendment, and that's what I'm going to recommend, that we start adding that as a discussion and start put some bullet points together, get it together at least by, I'm going to say this is March, April, May, at least try to get something out for like the first or second meeting in May. Leave it out there for about 5 or 6 meetings through the summer a little bit, and then get a feel where we're going, and then we can act on it.
Didn't we draft one? I'm pretty sure we drafted one.
Yeah, but let's scrap that. That was.
Okay.
I mean, no, we can. No, I don't want to say that. I don't mean scrap it. We can use it as a guideline, but
Okay.
we can use it as a guideline. But I think that was starting to get a little too complicated.
Yeah.
Now that we've seen what this actually is, we can maybe make it a little less complicated. But we can use that. We can use that as a guide. And I'm not. What zones we're going to do it in. I can't recall which one. I believe that it was just B zoned, but I'm not positive. And Kurt, I'm not sure if you could find that. So the next.
Yeah, we'll take a look and talk to the zoning enforcement officer and the secretary.
Yeah.
I've got a note here to talk to Will come Monday.
I was going to say, Will starts on Monday. He should have access.
So I'm going to bring it up to him, And
I would ask Will to also just benchmark with some local communities too.
exactly.
where we came from, yeah.
And if
they're all planning.
if we could find the old, or no, I don't want to say the old, but that text amendment that we did, we pulled it back. I think we denied it. And that was probably back. Does anybody have an idea? Was that probably
It was before they did the first extension of executive orders.
Yeah, what was it, around May? April, May?
Yeah, I think it
June?
was
Yeah.
May, June.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we should be able to find that, Harry.
Okay. No,
It's the starting point.
Yeah, I would just hate to see something that has potential to be successful to be, closed down, to be, these businesses that have to close these down, things that work for them down,
Right.
because we don't have something in place, so.
Harry, I know you mentioned just doing business zone, but I think when we had this original discussion, you wanted to include residential because like duties and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I mean.
Other existing restaurants that are in residential.
But see, but the thing with duties, he probably was grandfathered in, did it before regulations or whatever. I'm not sure. See, because he didn't request outdoor seating for during this process. So I don't know where he falls as far that would fall in part of the regulations. Like, was it there? Was that there prior?
But they have outdoor seating even before the pandemic.
That's what I'm saying. They've had it way before the pandemic. Yeah, they had it ever since before when I moved in town.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like you said there wasn't, but I could think of a handful of examples that have had it.
Okay.
Whether they're still around or they're being rebuilt or whatever they might be, but all around town on North Branford and Norfolk side. So it might be worth considering. I don't know.
What's that?
I think we'll have to take a look at that and maybe have our lawyer look at that because
look at what though?
allowing outdoor seating in a residential zone. I know there's certain things, Alex, you being one of them, that apply, but that's like a specific laser focused.
Well, no, Bill. I wouldn't be included in this because the vineyards and breweries already have specified in their own regulations outdoor seating. We determined that.
Even better.
Before the original.
Even better than we have to, because otherwise we're saying that resident, like my house here, can have outdoor seating. That's ludicrous. I mean, residential can't have outdoor seating. You can't have a business. So there's these ones that are, like Harry mentioned, grandfathered in. So we'll have to understand that legally. Well, we don't want to put a text amendment that says you can have outdoor seating in a residential zone because that doesn't really make sense.
Well, we don't want to harm existing
business. You can't have a business in a residential
duties
zone
either.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think duties is grandfathered in for some stuff. I don't know,
We'd have to somehow carve that out somehow. I don't know how. But.
What do you mean? Well, no, they're a non-conforming pre-existing.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah. So, I mean, any regulation we made, if we do it for a business zone and do not include residential, it doesn't mean that duties can't continue.
Right. Exactly.
That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we could do it. I believe it was business and industrial for the
outdoor seating.
The outdoor seating. Yeah. Yeah, because residential, I'm not sure what there is in residential. The winery one, I'm not sure how that. I don't think we needed to cover anything. Like you said, I think there was stuff already in there. So, but we might want to take a look just to make sure there is, because the wineries and vineyards do have outdoor seating, so we should just make sure that it's in there, just to cover, make sure everything's covered.
Yeah, okay. In that regard, yeah, maybe a reference to this other regulation that governs them. But we can't have a text amendment that allows outdoor seating in a residential zone because it's not allowed in a residential zone. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, we're gonna have to be careful though. Yeah, we're just gonna have to check. Yeah, because there's yeah. All right, well, we're good. So let's figure if we don't have a meeting next week, let's assume we have one on April 1st, and then maybe we can continue the discussion and maybe bullet point a couple items and kind of think about it and get the ball rolling on this.
We'll carry the item forward for the next meeting, and again, I'll talk to Will, sort of give him, we can discuss it between him and myself and the CEO.
Okay.
See what's done and try to take a stab at it.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
And Harry, Kurt's gonna talk with the town attorney on that too.
About what?
Well, for like the existing businesses that are residential, like Duties and the Mill Pond Tavern that's getting rebuilt.
Well, he's only indoors.
I'm pretty sure no from what I saw on the plans.
Well, we approved the plans, so whatever's on the plans. So if it's outdoors.
Because you have the decks out there too.
What's that?
You have the decks that were approved in the plans. So
Yeah.
wouldn't that fall into that or no? Because it's part of the building, technically.
I think we
Future
have to
discussion,
understand
whatever.
that whole, something has to be carved out for existing regulation like Alex.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to hurt
And then
existing
also
businesses.
the grandfather thing, Duties, and Mill Pond's grandfather too, because it was existing. He's just.
Yeah, and
I think that's part of the, the comprehensive look we take at it.
Exactly.
And then we go from there, once we have something in the draft.
Yeah, we have to just consider those things somehow, but it shouldn't just be, it can't just be residential, because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no.
Well, if it's already approved, Bill, it doesn't matter.
No, and that's what I'm saying, exactly. Yeah,
It's a non-issue.
Yeah.
it's a non-issue, there you go.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay. Anything else? If not, Ron is not here. So
I have one issue, but I think Kirk answered me an email. I asked Kirk if there had been any traction or any movement on the, maybe Alex, the Ag Commission and getting that group of people together to talk about farm events.
I haven't heard anything on the committee being reformed. I know there's farmers that are interested, but I don't know what Carrie did before she left, or Kurt, if you knew anything was happening with it.
I'm not aware of anything at this point.
Alex, she left it in their hands, and somebody said they were going to start it. Was it Bill? The guy named Bill, I think it was.
You mean Willie Del Camera?
Not Willie. No. What was the older guy's name?
Avastano?
Yeah.
No, Potter.
Potter. Yeah. So
Cliff.
Cliff Potter. Yeah, Cliff Potter.
Cliff goes, I'll
Yeah.
try to get something together, but we're not. They're not going to move on it, and we're not going to see anything. So whatever's being done in the town now, there's no regulation for it. So, if somebody has an event on their farm, like they may do once in a while or whatever, but there's no regulation that allows some of the things, that we thought would be a benefit to them.
Yeah. No, I was following up because I want to make sure, to my point, that we have P&Z, we have economic development, that we have residential people, that we have a good cross section of people.
Yeah,
like you mentioned with what Joe Nichols was saying, to have that
exactly.
all the groups
thought
come
that was-
together and yeah.
But
That's all. I was just following up. That's all. Thanks.
Yeah. I hope they do, because I think it's a good opportunity. But
that's my point too. Yeah, I think it is.
yeah. I think we could have made some changes to the setbacks and stuff and made it work. But I guess that so at least they could have had it for this year. But anyhow, neither here or there. Anything else? Anybody have?
Nope.
Whoever's the next oldest besides Ron, well, that's me, but I can't do a motion. So who's the next one in line?
And make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none? All right. Everybody have a good night.
All right.
Thank you all.
All right.
Couple weeks. Bye.